Today about Jay-Z and Beyoncé is that they are over. The two of them are pretending for their fans, they're pretending for the cameras, they're pretending while they're on tour that they're still a couple.
A major thing for Beyoncé. Didn't even get a thank you. So why is everybody calling me now? Excellence, at least how they present themselves. I mean, but there are lots of things that people do say about these people behind the scenes. They do call them dark.
What if the image of perfection we've all worshipped for decades was just a carefully crafted illusion? Jason Lee, known for never biting his tongue, just exposed what he claims Beyoncé's been hiding for years, and fans are losing their minds. He's hinting that behind the polished glamour, the flawless performances, and the empire worth billions lies a story of control, manipulation, and carefully buried secrets that could rewrite everything we think we know about the queen herself. But before we dive into the shocking layers of what Jason Lee is now revealing about Beyoncé, make sure to hit that like button, subscribe, and turn on notifications, because what's coming next might just be the most explosive story in celebrity history, and you'll want to be here when the next truth drops.
About this morning, before I even knew I was going to talk about this today, and I don't mean this in a bad way. I don't even really know how to explain how I'm going to say what I'm going to say, because I still love her. I'm just not in love with her like I used to be. That's the nicest way I can say it, only because I'm annoyed by how fake she comes off. Her brand, not her. I don't think Beyonce is fake, just like I don't think Kamala Harris is a bad person, but sometimes your team can make you move in a way that does not translate well. And as I become deeper into both the culture, pop culture, celebrity culture, this and that, and have looked at the whole world, I kind of have a better sense on what's real and authentic and true and what's kind of manufactured. I think optically, when you don't include other black leaders in the culture in the fold, I mean, not just take me out of it. The Breakfast Club, I mean, you should have honored and brought more black. And I spent thousands, over $40,000 in tickets and shared the experience with friends. And I've done a lot, and I'm not even going to say it here, because if I did, this internet, Beyonce's good internet, would go crazy.
So, let's start at the beginning, the moment everything shifted. It all started when Jason Lee, the bold voice behind Hollywood Unlocked, got snubbed from Beyoncé's exclusive Renaissance premiere. He had spent over $40,000 on concert tickets and merchandise to support her, only to find himself left off the invite list while smaller influencers walked the carpet. To Jason, that wasn't just a slight, it was a message. He went live, furious, calling Beyoncé out for failing to include black media and hinting that she's not as supportive of her own community as her image suggests. Fans thought it was just another celebrity rant, but Jason wasn't done. He started to suggest that he had major receipts that could destroy the Beyoncé myth, and that's when the internet started paying attention. As the months rolled on, Jason's jabs got darker and more specific. He accused Beyoncé of pretending to be something she's not, a flawless, untouchable icon, while hiding deep cracks in her personal life and public image.
Jason Lee from Hollywood Unlocked is calling out Jay-Z and Beyoncé, all right? Saying that, saying a lot. Saying a lot.
What made people take him seriously was his claim that he wasn't just talking, he had proof. He said on air that he'd stay quiet only if Beyoncé gave him access to Kelly Rowland for an interview, a move that looked less like gossip and more like an ultimatum. Viewers couldn't believe it. Was Jason actually blackmailing Beyoncé on air, or was this his way of sending a warning that he could destroy her brand if pushed too far? What came next turned rumor into full-blown scandal. According to Jason's sources, Beyoncé's marriage had been over for years. The power couple facade, he claimed, was just for the cameras, contracts, and fans. He said Beyoncé and her husband had been living separately for a long time, traveling on different schedules, even appearing together out of obligation, not love. The whispers grew louder when people began noticing how distant they seemed in public, especially during major events like the Grammys.
Jay-Z name is getting louder and louder, and people are trying to connect the dots between him and Diddy, because let's not forget, they had a pretty close relationship.
Where her expression during his speeches looked more strained than touched. Industry insiders began claiming that the split wasn't just personal, it was financial. There was allegedly a $2.6 billion empire at stake, and neither side wanted to pull the plug publicly until their assets were secure. But while the tabloids fixated on divorce rumors, Jason Lee hinted that the real story was darker. He started referencing patterns and connections phrases fans now realize pointed toward the growing allegations surrounding powerful figures in the music industry. He claimed Beyoncé knew more than she let on about the inner workings of that world, that her silence wasn't innocence, but strategy. He even suggested she's been working overtime to distance herself quietly, launching new ventures, new deals, and a new image, all designed to stand on her own when the inevitable implosion happens. Around this time, old rumors about Beyoncé's past began resurfacing, and Jason's name kept circling those conversations. He reminded people of something long forgotten, that Beyoncé had been molded into stardom from a very young age, with her personal and professional life controlled tightly. Jason's narrative implied that what people saw as discipline and focus might actually have been control and isolation. He connected this to stories from former insiders, like her ex-bodyguard Uncle Ron, who claimed before his mysterious death that Beyoncé was kept on substances to stay compliant and that her every move was orchestrated. Jaguar Wright backed those claims, saying Beyoncé lives in a gilded cage, adored on the outside but imprisoned by her own brand. Jason amplified these claims, suggesting that Beyoncé's flawless image is the most dangerous illusion in entertainment, a brand so airtight that even her pain is monetized. And just when fans thought things couldn't get darker, Jason started alluding to an even more twisted part of the story, the origins of Beyoncé's rise and the questionable relationships that defined her early years. He revisited old interviews that hinted at age gaps and blurred timelines, suggesting that her story wasn't the fairy tale it's been painted as. His fans began connecting dots from rumors about how she was discovered to the figures who shaped her career and how much of her early life might have been under someone else's control. The speculation went into overdrive when Jason referenced industry patterns, pointing to how young female artists are groomed, managed, and silenced. His followers began comparing Beyoncé's path to others who spoke out about manipulation and exploitation, but Beyoncé never did. She remained silent, as she always has, letting her work speak for her. But Jason claimed that silence is exactly how she's kept her empire intact, by mastering the art of saying nothing while everything burns around her. The narrative only intensified when fans recalled how Beyoncé once shared stages and business ventures with other powerful men now under heavy scrutiny, and Jason seemed to use that to draw invisible lines. He didn't have to name names. The timing, the phrasing, the tone, it all suggested she wasn't as disconnected from the chaos as she wanted the world to believe. Around this same period, strange coincidences began stacking up from the death of Uncle Ron to resurfaced conspiracy theories about Beyoncé faking her pregnancy with Blue Ivy. Jason's commentary fed the fire, hinting that there were things about that story the world still doesn't know. Fans dug up old footage of Beyoncé's baby bump folding on live television, reviving the idea of a secret surrogate, possibly even a woman tied to her husband's past. The speculation was insane, and yet Jason never denied it. He let the conversation breathe, posting cryptic captions like, "The truth always finds daylight." His subtle engagement made people wonder if he truly had proof, or if he was just fanning flames. Either way, it worked. The internet exploded again, and Beyoncé's long-held image of control suddenly felt vulnerable. Then came the moment that made everyone question their loyalty. At the Grammys, when her husband delivered a speech defending her legacy, he never said her name, not my wife, not Beyoncé, just this young lady. Fans were stunned. The woman he once called his muse now looked like a stranger beside him. The awkward tension on that stage, combined with Jason's relentless digs, created the perfect storm. Clips of that moment went viral, with captions like, "Does Beyoncé even love him anymore?" and "Why did she look so uncomfortable?" Jason capitalized on that confusion, doubling down with posts about fake unions and contracts over connection. His words made people start to wonder if Beyoncé's entire public life was a performance, one she could no longer control. And as he teased more exclusive information, fans started preparing for an explosion that could shake pop culture to its core. But beyond the drama, Jason's claims have also reignited a deeper debate about the entertainment industry's dark machine. If what he says is even half true, that Beyoncé's rise was built on silent suffering, manipulation, and hidden truths, then it exposes how the music world shapes its stars like chess pieces, not humans. He painted her as both the product and the prisoner of an empire too profitable to ever let crumble. This theory hit fans hard because it reframed Beyoncé not as untouchable royalty, but as a human being caught in a decades-long performance. Some began sympathizing, saying maybe she's not the villain, but the victim of her own myth, while others insist she's been complicit all along, choosing power and silence over truth. What makes Jason Lee's narrative so dangerous is that it mixes verifiable facts with whispered conspiracies, making it impossible to tell where reality ends and storytelling begins. But that's exactly why it's spreading, because people love a crack in perfection. And when it comes to Beyoncé, any crack feels like a revelation. Still, Jason didn't stop there. He claimed that Beyoncé has been scrambling behind the scenes to secure her independence, launching new projects, her hair care brand, and expanding her own empire. A sign, he says, that she's preparing for the inevitable collapse of the partnership that built her fortune. He points to her solo public appearances, her missing wedding ring, her cryptic captions, and even how rarely she now addresses her personal life. Each move, in his eyes, is strategic, a quiet exit plan. Whether you believe Jason or not, one thing is undeniable. He's tapped into something people have sensed for years, that the perfect couple, the perfect artist, the perfect queen might not be so perfect after all. As the conversation spirals, fans online are divided. The Beyhive defends her fiercely, dismissing Jason as clout-chasing and bitter over an invitation. But others admit his words resonate, that there's too much smoke for there not to be fire. Jason himself seems to enjoy the chaos, saying he's not done yet, hinting that what's already out is just the beginning. In one cryptic post, he wrote, "When you build your empire on illusion, truth becomes your biggest enemy." Fans immediately flooded the comments, asking if he was talking about Beyoncé again, and his silence was the answer. The internet is now obsessed with one question: what exactly does Jason Lee know? Is he bluffing for relevance? Or does he really have receipts that could tear down one of the most untouchable brands in music history? For now, Beyoncé hasn't responded, not a statement, not a post, not even a lyric that could be interpreted as shade. And maybe that's what scares people most. Because silence from Beyoncé usually means control, but this time it feels different, like even she knows something is unraveling behind the curtain. As fans debate, one thing remains clear: Jason Lee has done what few have ever managed. He's made the world question the woman who built her legacy on being beyond question. Whether he's uncovering truth or just chasing chaos, his voice has cracked open the illusion. Behind her success, behind the glitter and glory, there's clearly something Beyoncé doesn't want the world to see, and Jason Lee might be the one bold enough to drag it into the light.